I'm Dr. Linda Khoshaba. I'm a naturopathic doctor at Integrative Health here in Scottsdale. So today I'm going to talk to you about quinoa. And the reason why we're going to talk about quinoa is we actually got a question from Kelly. So I'm going to talk to you and Kelly about what quinoa is and how you can use it, and is it good for certain types of conditions such as like diabetes and thyroid conditions. So just to kind of talk about quinoa. Quinoa actually comes from South America. Now, it's a South American seed, but it's been getting really popular, especially in North America, over the last couple of years. And the reason is because it's been known to be gluten-free, which is really, really good, and also a really high-protein seed, and also has a low glycemic index. So I'm going to kind of talk to you about the importance and what all of this means. So let's start off by talking about how it's high in protein. Well, although it is high in protein, it's not or shouldn't be considered like a protein substitute. It's more higher in protein considered to other grains. Actually, it has 8 grams of protein per 40 grams of carbohydrate serving. So when you think about it in that ratio, it's literally a 5 to 1 ratio of carbohydrate to protein. So yes, it is higher in protein, and it is a seed, which acts like it's like a grain too, but it shouldn't be used as a protein substitute. So continue to eat that chicken and other sources of protein. When we talk about the glycemic index, a lot of people are like, what is a glycemic index? So a glycemic index tells you how much, when you eat something, like how much your blood sugar can rise. So there are certain foods that are low glycemic, moderate glycemic, and high glycemic index. So quinoa actually is really good for diabetics, especially because it helps stabilize it. So when you eat it, it's in the low glycemic index. So when you eat it, your blood sugars are not really going to spike. So it's actually considered to be a glycemic index of 55. And so these ranges, low, medium, and high, go from basically low is 55, medium is 56 to 69, and higher glycemic is greater than 70. So when you're looking at foods, just make sure you're looking for foods that fit. You can kind of see it on the packaging sometimes, or just do a quick search on see what a common thing of where it fits into that scale. And then when it comes down to discussing how it is and how you get it in, and gluten-free, it is actually gluten-free. So it's not gonna, it doesn't have the same effects on your GI system such as wheat. It's good for people when they have celiac and they cannot digest it and they have sensitivities to gluten, or even just general gluten sensitivity. So it's a really good way to get it in your meal. And here's a simple trick, and here's a simple tip on how to get quinoa in your diet. So what I personally make is a tabbouleh salad, and tabbouleh salad is made out of parsley. You can just get like 2 bunches of parsley, wash them very thoroughly, chop them up really finely, put them in a small container, and then you take an onion, red onion or green onions, and you wash them, chop them up finely, add that in there, some tomatoes, and then the original recipe of tabbouleh calls for bulgur wheat. But in this case, you can substitute the quinoa for the bulgur wheat and make it a gluten-free dish. So this is what quinoa really looks like. So when it's kind of cooked, you can kind of see it. It's not too soft, but it still has a little bit of a crunch to it. And usually the cooking time for this type of quinoa would be about 10 to 15 minutes in a rice cooker. So you would literally put maybe a half a cup to a cup, depending on how much quinoa you'd like, to equal part of water. So if it's 1 cup, you just kind of want the water to kind of just simmer right over the quinoa. You don't want the water to be overflowing too much, because you don't want it to get soggy. So you just want it enough so it's kind of plump and nice and has a little bit of a crunch to it. So that's a really good and simple recipe, and we can share some more recipes with you and put some on our website too, for if people want to incorporate how to get more quinoa in their diet. There's 3 types of quinoa. There's a red quinoa, there's this color, the golden color, and then there's the black quinoa. The gold one is like a fluffy one. It's got it's the most common one that you'll see in the stores. It's really good for breakfast cereals as a substitute for that, because again, cereals are in the high glycemic index category. So if you're just looking to kind of substitute that sugar, consider quinoa as a better glycemic control index there. And then you could get the red one. The red one's going to be a little bit more crunchier than the golden one. That one will go nice with dishes like avocados and squash, and it just kind of it pairs nicely with those types of meals. The other one is the black quinoa, and that's the most crunchiest one. And those are really good if you're going to be baking a lot or try to incorporate in there. It's got a longer, it's harder, and it's not going to break down and get as soft and mushy as like the golden or red one. But you know, feel free to experiment with all of them. Sometimes they come in prepackaged things where you can get a blend of all the three. So go ahead, have fun, and have some quinoa. And it actually doesn't. If you're asking what does it really taste like, I wouldn't say it just tastes like a rice. It's like a grain. It's not something that to say it has a pungent or bitter taste or anything. So give it a shot and try some quinoa.